You are tuned in to The Perspective on Cable 95.
Hello and welcome to The Perspective. My name is Jennifer.
I'm Allison.
And I'm Bernie. The Perspective is a show that discusses issues that concern Brenau students on a campus, local, and national level. We give the Brenau community somewhere to go to express themselves about the things that concern them. Each show will have a special guest who will give them a new insight on a given subject.
We're doing things a little differently this season. We have added a fashion corner as well as a health corner to keep you up to date on the latest news and trends.
Now let's get to our hot topics.
Well, to begin our hot topics, let's talk about the protest in Cairo, Egypt. What do you guys think about the situation of the internet being completely cut off, young people trying to protest, peacefully protest, the fact that there are no jobs, the rising cost of food, and the feeling of being neglected by their government?
I feel that the internet is one of the most important forms, or I guess forms for lack of better words, to get information out and news out and things like that. Like we stopped really listening to radio and things like that. Most of our information comes from the internet, and I feel like they should be allowed to, get their information out however they feel the need to.
Right. I could never see myself without internet or without social media at all, because I get minute by minute information. Like I don't check on the television. I don't read the newspaper. All I do is just read what's on the internet. So.
Well, with them cutting off the internet, I think it's a testament to how much social media has evolved and how technologically savvy our generation is.
Right.
Because when you're taking away photographs and banning people from Facebook, that's showing that we have the power to really connect each other no matter the boundaries.
Right.
And then on top of that, on a level of just our generation, the fact that young people are putting together a protest of not having jobs, it speaks to us because our own country went through a recession.
Right.
And we did have graduates who were like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And even still, it's hard to find jobs to a point. So what do you guys think about that?
I think what they're doing is positive, but at the same time, you have to find, if one door closes, you have to figure out another way to open a better door. So, they have to, I feel like the government kind of has to set boundaries and say, this is getting a little out of hand and this is getting too far and things like that.
Right. I mean, I totally agree with you. I like the fact that, our generation is out there and they're getting their voice heard, but at the same time, it's just like this turmoil that's going on. And I feel like everybody should find a happy medium.
Right.
Well, speaking of the internet and social media, what did you guys think about Social Media, the movie?
Well, I didn't get a chance to see it, but I definitely read a lot of reviews and a lot of summaries about it, and I felt like it was funny how when Facebook first began, it was actually called the Facebook, and there were people here and there who helped with it, but no one was really trying to take the credit for it except for the creator. But then as soon as it began making millions and everyone was on it, that's when everyone came in and I helped with this and I helped with that, and people wanted to find the legalities about it and things like that. And I was like, it's just really funny how you didn't want to take credit for it when it wasn't anything major, when it was still with the Harvard students, but then once it becomes national, that's when everyone played a part in it.
Right. I mean, as a viewer and looking at the previews and everything like that, I felt like I wouldn't really care about the movie. I said it can go either way. It can be good or it can be bad. But it turned out to be good because they played on the characters and the personalities of each character, and then the emotional part too. So I really enjoyed that part of the movie.
Well, I initially thought because it had Justin Timberlake, I was like, oh, NSYNC guy, is he going to sing in the middle of the movie? I just didn't want to see it. But then looking at the way that Facebook evolved from just it being people sharing notes about one class, it really kind of shaped my understanding of how Facebook was and how it came to be. So, and plus it really did have good acting.
Right.
And again, I panicked because I was like, Jesse Eisenberg, Justin Timberlake, I don't know about the combination, and Brenda's song from Disney.
Right.
I know.
But it was a really good movie.
The plot was really shocking to me. Like when I read and I found out that it was Harvard students behind the whole thing, I was really like, when you initially think of Harvard, you're like, students who don't have time for a social life and, they're busy with work trying to graduate because that's such a, major school. But then when I found out, like, it was all behind of a girl and they were trying to, rape girls, I was like, wow, that was just really shocking to me, and it just put into perspective that, the schools that you think are major and they're, like, so focused on schoolwork and things like that, it's really not.
Right. I totally agree. But I wouldn't be the one who invented Facebook. I mean, that's like, you have to be super smart.
You have to have a lot. You have to have a lot of time on your hand as well.
Yes.
Like, you definitely can't be Basically, you have to have a lot of time on your hands. It's not something you can do like in your free time and really get it done with.
Right,
Well, I guess
right.
in his case, the whole not going to class.
Right, that had something to do with it.
Right, and it was only 2 people. Like, I would have to have a team of like 20
Yes.
to try to figure out a way, to get a host site, to get
Right.
friends, things like that. That was really creative.
Definitely.
Well, speaking of creative and reviews, what did you guys think about the president's address to the country?
I thought that was very interesting. I love the way Obama tried to take the spotlight off of the division between red and blue, and tried to get everyone to understand that it's bigger things at hand. It's apart from being Republican and being Democratic. The thing is, we have to do what's in the best interest for our people and the nation. I felt like that was really a big step on his part, because although Republicans are usually saying no to his bills, he was like, it's okay to say no, because everything that I propose isn't going to be the best plan, but say no and have something to back it up with, like stay no from and standing from a leadership position. I felt like that was very powerful.
Right, and that's the common goal. Like, we all share in the interest of this nation, and that's what basically he was just trying to say. Like, we're all tied together. We might be divided, but we're all trying to work towards, getting this nation better.
Right.
But we just have different opinions and different sides and different ways of doing it.
Right.
Might not agree, but at the same time, we have to come together.
I agree with you. I like the part of just getting that point across of, hey, let's put it aside, let's look at what the topic is at hand, and let's do what's best. That's the only way we're going to make progress.
And
Right.
I think another thing that I really enjoyed was when he stated that the government was spending way too much money, which is definitely true. Like, we have a lot of other things that we could spend the money for. Like he was saying, for the roads and for education, which is a big thing. Like, education is very major. And I felt like someone needed to address the fact that the government was investing in things that really didn't need investments. Like, it was just pointless. So that was great as well. Stay tuned, because the Health Corner with Sandra Dorsey is up next on The Perspective.